With 2025 now upon us, Star Wars fans have a whole new year's worth of content to look forward to. Unfortunately, 2025 isn't shaping up to be the franchise's biggest year. With no new movies on the docket and only one live-action series confirmed for release, the pickings are looking a little slim. But that's not to say there's nothing exciting on the horizon. The release of Andor Season 2 alone is reason for Star Wars fans to celebrate like the rebels dancing on Endor. Let's take a closer look at what's coming in 2025 and the many Star Wars projects we hope to learn more about in the next 12 months. This is the big one. The Star Wars slate may be a little sparse in 2025, but it's hard to complain too much when we're getting a sequel to what is widely regarded as the best Star Wars project Disney has released so far. That's right, Andor Season 2 is finally dropping in April 2025.
And they're fighting these bastards from the start. Fight the Empire!
Season 2 chronicles the second half of this deep, introspective origin story for Diego Luna's Cassian Andor. If Season 1 was the story of how a young Cassian became radicalized and joined the fledgling Rebel Alliance, then Season 2 will show us the dangerous missions he undertook leading up to the events of Rogue One, a Star Wars story.
We'll be alright.
Fittingly, with the series moving closer to the time period of Rogue One, we'll see more familiar faces from that movie pop up in Season 2. Most notably, Alan Tudyk will reprise the role of K2SO.
Congratulations, you are being rescued.
As we learn how Cassian first met this eccentric Imperial assassin droid. We are also looking forward to seeing Ben Mendelsohn don his cape once more as Death Star Project Manager-Director Orson Krennic.
All your ships in here will be destroyed. I lose nothing but time. You, on the other hand, die with the rebellion.
Fans can expect Season 2 to cover a lot of ground, with multiple time jumps unfolding over the course of the season and the final batch of episodes set in the days leading up to Rogue One. In other words, don't expect a Season 3, but do expect a Star Wars story that continues to explore the ordinary men and women who lit the spark of rebellion in a time of great darkness.
I always hated the Empire. I don't really know what to call how I feel now.
More Andor is great, but what about the animated side of things? With The Bad Batch wrapping up in 2024, the one Star Wars animated series confirmed to return in 2025 is Star Wars Visions. Once again, fans will be treated to an anthology of animated shorts featuring various animation studios interpreting the mythology of Star Wars through their own unique lens. Season 3 is set to bring Visions back to its roots as an anime anthology, whereas Season 2 took more of a global approach. The studios involved in Season 3 include Cyberpunk Edge Runner Studio Trigger and Attack on Titan's Wit Studio, along with David Production, Kamikaze Doga, Anima, Kinema Citrus Co., Polygon Pictures, Production IG, and Project Studio Q.
It's been a long time since I killed a Jedi.
However much we're looking forward to more Star Wars Andor and Star Wars Visions, there's no getting around the fact that 2025 is looking pretty thin on the Star Wars TV front compared to previous years. In 2024 alone, we got 2 live-action shows in The Acolyte and Skeleton Crew and 2 animated series in The Bad Batch Season 3 and Tales of the Empire.
Long live the Empire.
But in 2025, we only have 1 confirmed live-action series and 1 animated series, plus the final 2 episodes of Skeleton Crew. Is there a chance Disney has more shows planned that we don't know about? Possibly, at least on the animated front. Don't forget that we only learned about the existence of Tales of the Empire a month before it dropped on Disney Plus in May of 2024. It's entirely possible that they could pull the same trick again in 2025, announcing another Tales of anthology series to follow up Tales of the Empire and Tales of the Jedi. There's also the question of whether Disney has any long-form Star Wars animated projects in development right now. With The Bad Batch wrapping up last year, we have to imagine that Dave Filoni and others have been hard at work crafting the next great Star Wars animated saga. We probably won't see that series in 2025, but it's possible we'll at least get an announcement and maybe even see some early footage. That could be one of the big announcements at Star Wars Celebration Japan in April. But on the live-action front, don't expect any big surprises in 2025. The Acolyte was officially cancelled, and with the Mandalorian saga continuing on the big screen, we don't even know if The Mandalorian Season 4 is ever happening. That just leaves Ahsoka Season 2, and that series isn't returning until 2026 at least.
It didn't need to come to this. But you know no other way.
If things are looking a little barren on the live-action Star Wars front right now, the same certainly can't be said for the publishing side of things. Fans of the Star Wars books and comics will be eating very well in 2025, particularly those following Lucasfilm Publishing's High Republic saga. For the past several years, these books and comics have been exploring the triumphs and tribulations of the Jedi hundreds of years before the Star Wars movies, and it all comes to an end soon. Look for several major High Republic novels to be released in 2025, including Charles Soule's The High Republic Trials of the Jedi, Claudia Gray's The High Republic Into the Light, and Justina Ireland's The High Republic A Valiant Vow. Of these, Trials of the Jedi is one of the most worth keeping an eye on, as it serves as the climax to the entire High Republic initiative. This novel will chronicle the final battle between the Jedi and the Nihil and the Nameless. Look for Trials of the Jedi to be released on June 17th. Not to be outdone, Marvel Comics has quite an ambitious Star Wars lineup planned for 2025. In 2024, most of Marvel's ongoing Star Wars comics were exploring the period between The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. Now that those books have ended, Marvel is casting a wider net and branching out to multiple Star Wars eras in 2025. Kicking things off, look for Marvel to wrap up the limited series Star Wars The Battle of Jakku in January. The series has been busy fleshing out the final major battle between the dying Empire and the New Republic 2 years after Return of the Jedi. We'll see the climax unfold in writer Alex Segura, artist Jethro Morales, and Leonard Kirk's The Battle of Jakku Last Stand. From there, Marvel is veering into two wildly different directions with its newest ongoing Star Wars comics. First, writer Mark Guggenheim and artist Madibek Musabekov are heading to the prequel era in Star Wars Jedi Knights. Set before the events of The Phantom Menace, the series will follow numerous members of the Jedi Order, including Qui-Gon Jinn, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Yoda, Mace Windu, and Shaak Ti. The series even focuses on Count Dooku before his defection from the Jedi Order. Elsewhere, Marvel is venturing deep into the era of the sequel trilogy for Charles Soule's and Luke Ross's Star Wars Legacy of Vader. Set in between The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker, the series explores Kylo Ren's struggle as the newly crowned Supreme Leader of the First Order and his quest to recommit himself to the dark side following his battles with Rey and Luke Skywalker. Soule previously fleshed out Ben Solo's dark side origins in 2019's Star Wars The Rise of Kylo Ren, so consider this a sequel of sorts. We have to assume these aren't the only Star Wars comics Marvel will be launching in 2025, as the publisher has tended to publish 4 or 5 ongoing titles at any given time. Will Dr. Aphra get another solo series? Will we see other books fleshing out the blank canvas that is the post-Return of the Jedi era? Only time will tell on that front. If 2025 is shaping up to be a relatively quiet year on the movie and TV front, it's not looking any better in terms of video game releases. In fact, there are no Star Wars games confirmed for release in 2025. About all fans have to look forward to at the moment is the new DLC for Star Wars Outlaws. According to Ubisoft's DLC roadmap, fans can expect a new story campaign called A Pirate's Fortune to release in spring of 2025. This campaign focuses on fan-favorite pirate villain, or perhaps he's more of an anti-hero, Hondo Ohnaka, as he bumps into Kay Vess. Ubisoft has yet to reveal what, if any, new Outlaws content is planned beyond A Pirate's Fortune. Are there even more adventures planned for Kay and her motley crew, or do the lukewarm sales numbers spell doom for Outlaws' ongoing future? We'll have to wait for future announcements to learn more. Beyond that, all we can do is hope that 2025 brings with it news about other upcoming Star Wars games. We know EA is developing a third game in the Star Wars Jedi series, but with there being 4 years between the release of 2019's Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order and 2023's Star Wars Jedi Survivor, it's probably too much to hope the new game will actually release in 2025. At best, we might see early footage of the game and get a better idea of when in the Star Wars timeline it takes place. We're also crossing our fingers for news about the oft-delayed remake of Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. Saber Interactive CEO Matthew Kark confirmed in 2024 that the game is still in active development, despite rumors to the contrary. But what state is the game in right now? And when will we get to see footage of the remake in action? Hopefully, 2025 brings with it some good news on the Knights of the Old Republic front. And let's not forget about Quantic Dreams Star Wars Eclipse, another title that was announced and then seemingly vanished off the face of the earth. Will 2025 be the year Eclipse finally rears its head again, or will it go the way of so many other cancelled Star Wars projects? "2025 won't deliver any new Star Wars theatrical releases, which at this point is nothing new. On the theatrical side, the franchise has been dormant since the release of The Rise of Skywalker back in 2019. But that's not to say Lucasfilm hasn't announced plenty of new Star Wars movies in recent years. It's worth looking at what's currently in the pipeline and how likely we are to get an update in 2025. First, there's the lone Star Wars movie that's actually in production right now, The Mandalorian and Grogu. This big screen spin-off of The Mandalorian continues the shared story of the two heroes after the events of The Mandalorian Season 3. Co-creator Jon Favreau is directing the film, which is currently slated for release on May 22, 2026. With any luck, we should see a teaser trailer for the film at some point in 2025, possibly as early as Star Wars Celebration Japan. Not to be outdone, Favreau's partner Dave Filoni is directing his own live-action movie, one expected to tie together characters and threads from The Mandalorian, Ahsoka, The Book of Boba Fett, and other projects from that era. Don't expect much news on this movie in the foreseeable future, however, as Filoni has to focus on Ahsoka Season 2 first. Logan director James Mangold is helming a movie set in the distant past of the Star Wars universe, revealing the origins of the Jedi Order and reportedly featuring a biblical scope. Lucasfilm may announce a writer for the movie in 2025, but don't expect more updates than that. Daisy Ridley is reprising the role of Rey Skywalker in a new movie set 15 years after the events of The Rise of Skywalker. Ms. Marvel's Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy is directing. Hopefully we'll see some updates about the film in 2025, but it's unclear where in the pipeline it currently falls. X-Men producer Simon Kinberg has been tapped to oversee a new trilogy of Star Wars movies. Despite early rumors the trilogy will directly continue the Skywalker saga, IGN was able to confirm it's instead meant to focus on a new storyline. It's still early days on this project, so we're not expecting to hear much about Kinberg's trilogy in 2025. Thor Ragnarok's Taika Waititi is apparently still set to venture into the Star Wars universe, though it's been years since we've gotten any substantive updates on this mysterious project. Will that finally change in 2025?
If one is to understand the great mystery, one must study all its aspects.
And that's what you can expect from the Star Wars franchise in 2025. It's a relatively quiet year, but there are still some very cool projects for fans to look forward to in the new year. What Star Wars story are you most looking forward to experience in 2025? Let us know in the comments. And for much more on what's to come in 2025, make sure you like and subscribe to IGN wherever you watch.